116th Hotline.
Welcome back to 116th Hotline. We are a podcast where we talk about anything and everything
under the sun.
Everything under the sun. And if you're a returning listener, viewer, our setting may look a little bit different.
As you can tell.
So Valerie, who is normally our third co-host.
She's normally right here.
Insert. She's normally in the middle.
Picture.
Due to scheduling conflicts, she will no longer be in episodes going forward. She may appear in some episodes from time to time, but that's, we can't tell that too far in advance. So just as she's available, she may be popping in episodes here and there, but going forward, it'll just be Sadie and I. So we will be representing 116th Hotline. And then, of course, if we have events and everything like that, Valerie will try to make them as well. But yeah,
if schedule permits. And then also we are still looking for interviewees. Yes. So we already have some in mind and one booked. So we'll be looking forward to that. And then that will look more like a 3, people setting rather than just us 2. But then it's a little different, but it's okay because I'm excited for, what Satana and I have in store for you all and vice versa. So same. So that's that.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yes.
And it'll be a little shift in our content, but I'm excited to see what else we can do, and I'm also excited to have more guests on the podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
That's going to be really, really fun. So look forward to more. Just because there's a change doesn't necessarily mean that the podcast is going to entirely change.
The same values and the same,
the values are going to stay the same.
Yes.
The, vibe is going to stay the same.
Absolutely.
The only difference is that we're down one co-host, but that's all right because we'll have interviewees from time to time. So if you want to be on our podcast, send us a DM, email, message, let us know, comments, and we will look into it.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Elephant in the room. Hang on, I don't know. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I don't know.
I'm thinking about the Jake Paul fight.
Oh. Girl, I'm thinking about other things because, there's another elephant in the room that just recently have shifted not the whole world, but quite literally everybody that lives in the United States of America. But we're not going to get there.
Yeah, we're not going to get deep into politics. Yeah.
I mean,
if you know.
But, okay, something that's so funny I saw the other day on TikTok, or I think it was TikTok or Instagram, where they were talking about how, oh my gosh, it's been a tough week for me. And then it says, when I go to work or something, I'll be like, it's been a tough week. To see the other person's reaction, to see if they're like, yeah, I agree. Or and I'm dying. And then I'm in the comments, they were just saying yeah, I would say that I was trying to see what the reactions are or whatnot. And I'm dying laughing because I'm relatable.
Or they're the day after, they're why are you so happy for
you're a little too excited.
No, for real, because honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, I've been in a mental rut because of it. It's been
chill.
I'm not gonna get into it, but it's been sucking me dry. But
the thing is, girl, no, same. It's been kind of like a whirlwind of just emotions and I didn't think it would affect me that much, but just because I'm older now, and I have I don't know, I guess I have my values all and all my ducks in a row. I'm just dang, that hit hard.
I feel that affects either way, whatever side you lean to, politics affect you even more when you get older.
Exactly.
Because it's the effect and how you just know more about the world, about life, and you know how much it can affect you.
It can affect you.
And you're just oh gosh.
Quite literally, it has already started. Yeah. And I don't know why I keep doing the random thing.
The British ADHD.
British accent. I do that at work too when I be talking randomly to my kids.
Really?
And they'll be laughing. They're like, Miss Lee, this is not the 1800s. So I'm
I'm in Bridgerton, hun.
I'm Bridgerton.
Hun.
And then they'll try to do it too. It's so cute. But anyway, yeah, it's been quite I don't know, a crazy past 2 weeks for me personally.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely, go for it.
So what do you think about the whole premises of if someone has the opposite values of you? What do you think about that?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's dive into that.
I feel
that's a good one.
I've been dealing with that myself, and I really think that regardless of whatever person you choose, politics are going to be politics.
Yes.
But for me personally, and I can say this because I have no affiliation to no organization anymore. Okay. We'll get into that in a minute. We'll get into that in a minute. I just feel like your values of who you back as like a political party, not only that, but also like in general, right? Like your favorite singer or whatever, like your values like have to align with them some way, somehow. Like that's how I believe.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, when people are like, you know, like be a bigger person, like you can be friends that have the opposite, and I don't want to be.
You know, so the crazy thing for me is, like, again, I'm older now, right? And like I've just been reading more into things, and I'm like, okay, I agree with this, and because you know me, right? I'm always very, very much the middle person where I'm like, I want to see everything from all points of view. Like, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Everybody,
you're the mediator.
I'm very, very much a mediator. Like, and that's a blessing and a curse, quite honestly. But okay, now that I am older too, and I'm like, and like you said, I'm not very much into politics like that either. I mean, yes, I know it's going to affect me, and it will affect me now that I'm older, and just like where I, you know, in my job, in my career. Yeah. So my thing on that of having different opinions is, I don't know. I'm in the middle still, like, because okay. Here's what I will say. I do have people around me that are, you know, they have very, very much different opinion from me, right? Opinions from me, and I can't make them believe what I believe, and I can't make them believe what I did I just say that? I can't make them believe what I believe, and vice versa, right?
Like, just don't push your agenda onto me.
At the end of the day, because I've been there, honestly, and I remember I told you the story quite a while ago. I have been in a position, a very, very sticky position, where somebody I know, quite a few times actually, a few of people, they have tried to really push a lot of things on me, and I that's where I draw the line. I hate that so much. Like, at the end of the day, if you believe whatever you want to, like, beautiful, I love that for you, but you need to respect my boundaries. And that was one thing that honestly, I don't wish that upon anybody. Like, people, I don't know, I think people may think that they're doing good by doing that because they want to influence you, or like, I don't know.
Or they're like, I want to spread the word, like, I want our you know, belief, or like our political party, or whatever it is. Like, I want there to be more numbers.
Yes. Which, I don't know if that's what you guys are taught, if that's what they've been taught to do, then whatever, by all means. But then just respect the other people. That if you're trying to, like, you know, I don't know, I guess get them on your side, and they respectfully decline at first, respect that, walk away. Okay, I'll go down to the next, if that's what your mission or your journey is supposed to be. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's like your personality. You're very like, I just want to, like, no conflict, just in the middle. Absolutely.
Like, no conflicts. Like, I'm not going to say, like, no, I don't like that. Like, I'm not going to, like, be like very, like, turn the cheek all the way and be like, no, I don't care about that. You know, like, I will still respect you and what you believe in and what you do with however your lifestyle is. I just grew up in a household where this is what I know, this is what I've been told, and I believe in this. That doesn't always mean that I'm following everything exactly down to a T as well. You know, now that I'm older, yes, I'm opening my mind up to different things and whatnot. But at the same time, I want to be my own person and believe what I believe and do what I got to do, because it's my life. So whenever people come and they, like, forcefully push it on you continuously in a passive aggressively way, that's where I draw the line. I got to get away from these people, because those, I mean, in my opinion, that's not I don't feel like it's good intentions. It's not. You know what I mean? Do you,
like, the purpose is just to, like, I don't know, it just leaves like a bad, like, taste in your mouth. You're just like, okay, like, that did not come off right.
And when I'm telling you, and even till today, sometimes it's still like, it's it kind of traumatized me, quite literally. Like, I don't know, traumatized is a big word, but I'm saying it's traumatized me, because till today, if I see or hear something that's similar to that situation, like, I kind of get like a little, like, I cringe a little, like, on the inside, where I'm like, oh, like, that's weird, you know?
Like, run.
Run. And it really, like, I don't know, it really, really affected me, not in a good way. And that's why, so now I'm like, opinions on anything. If people, there's a lot of people nowadays, especially just recently because of the whole situation here in the United States, a lot of people are, with their opinions, they are so much more
open
and what is it, not forceful, but more strong. Their opinions have been very, very strong, and they were speaking very, very, you know, hard on it. And you know, like, whatever, that's cool, you do you, but then that doesn't mean you have to get ugly. You know what I mean? You don't have to get ugly with others and whatnot.
Just be respectful.
Like, okay, you got your win, take your win and go. Like, why are you still spitting in people's face?
I think, like, that's part of my problem, is, like, trying to respect that, like, boundary. But then also, it's like, if you overstep that, like, no, I don't want to be part of it. Like, I don't want to, you go do your thing, I'll go do my thing. Like, I don't know.
It's such a weird situation.
It is.
Dude, okay, so for example, like like I said again, I have some people in my life that they have very much different opinions and views from me.
Yeah.
What I personally have been doing is I'm just like, because it's still so fresh, whatever. I'm just kind of like, all right, cool. I'm going to just distance myself, not just from them, but then honestly, quite literally from everything.
Ooh,
right now, I have been
yeah.
distancing myself because that's one of my very close friends said to me too. She said that it's just not good mentally for her, and especially to feed more into it.
Yes.
Whether you're talking about like the right or the left, the up or the downs, like it can really take a toll on you mentally.
It can,
and it kind of did for me, like for a few days. So then I'm like, I'm just gonna kind of distance myself from everything for now until it dies down. I'm gonna do my own thing. And I don't know, it's just been weird.
That's kind of what I did too. Like I just like got off social media because I'm like I don't want to see anything political. Like nothing. I like literally got off TikTok. I literally just kept swiping that's like what I've been literally doing. Back to back because I know that it's in there. So I'm like, I don't want to see that. Like it is what it is, and I think that like speaks to different areas, not just political stuff. But I don't know, like you said, I think I distance myself too, and then also like just remember that. Mm-hmm. Like remember what they said, remember what they stand for, and then like going forward when you make your decisions about like friendships or whatever, like keep that in the back of your mind.
I do agree with you about the whole like some way or form, like your values connect with like however you're
some way shape or
form, like this is actually what Valerie said whenever we had a conversation too, where like it's like you can't really pick and choose. I mean, I guess you could, but then at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
It's contradicting.
It is very contradicting, a lot of them. And like I said, again, not just political views, but like, and everything else like that, just your beliefs and values in general. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like I personally feel like, I mean, have I done things in the past where I've contradicted myself? Yes, sure. Yeah. But now that I've been thinking a lot lately about just how much, I mean, I know I keep mentioning how much older I am, maybe because I'm turning 30 soon, so it's like a midlife crisis.
I'm telling you, 30 will do that for you.
Refer to our last episode.
Yeah.
But like, it's just, everything has been hitting so much harder now too. So I'm just kind of like, I've been very, very, I feel like in the past few years, at least, I've been very, very like true to myself and know what I stand on. Yeah. Standing on business.
And your life experiences. Like like if you think about you right now, you're the way you are because of everything that you've experienced during your life. So it's almost like, it is kind of like midlife crisis, but it's like now going forward, how do I want the rest of my life to be with the values that I've learned.
Exactly. Everything that you've collected and learned in your life so far, it's kind of like, lost train of thought. That's what ADHD do to you. But no, what is it? No. Okay, yeah. So everything that you've learned, right, in your early 20s or whatever. And I know we've talked about that before, but with everything else happening in the world today too, it's like, at our age, all of these factors, it has solidified like what I want my life to look like going forward.
Yeah.
Jinx, you almost saw that. But no, you get me.
I get your drift. That's kind of how I felt too, because I was like, 30's coming. It's a big number. Yes. It's a big change. Like your life is gonna look different. How are things gonna look for you? Like, I don't know. It's a big adjustment.
I feel like you just honestly like around our age too nowadays, and maybe you can relate, you viewers at home, if you're around our age or older, if you've been through the same type of feelings. It's kind of like as you get older and you start you already have your family, but like I'm thinking about starting my family or whatnot. It's like you really just have to be very much more intentional and responsible, mindful, demure, and I don't know. It saddens me when I see people that are not really have that type of mindset, but whatever. Like, I mean, that's, people have different lives and different mindset, and they want to do things at a different pace in their lives. If then so be it. But me personally, is just like I will not let anything stop me from this mindset. And because at the end of the day, it's my life, and your own life, you want to have the best for you. You know what I mean? So,
and I feel like whenever you're thinking of whenever you're about to hit your 30s too, it's just almost like, how was my childhood growing up, and how do I want that to differ for my kids? So then you start thinking about things like political views and people that you surround yourself with, and then how that's going to affect you when you make a family, and your partner, all that stuff, that it just comes all down to people.
That's crazy. I've never thought of it that way before. Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, because people that you surround yourself with, and are you going to allow them to influence your life?
Ooh, I didn't think.
Even if you think about it or you don't think about it, people around you are influencing the things that you do on a daily. And like whether that be negative or positive, it's always going to have an effect on you.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that part because, like, you know, granted, I mean, I'm not a mother yet. I don't have kids. But then now that you mentioned that, that makes a lot of sense. Like, anybody that you surround yourself with, eventually it will also affect your family members.
Yes.
You know, it's going to. Oh, that's
some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's
why I was like,
thought. I like
be
that.
careful about who you choose who you choose to be around you and your family, or just you as an individual, because I feel like people that are just bad for you, they drain so much of your energy and your battery, and it's just not worth it.
Not worth it.
I would rather surround myself with people that I know is going to uplift me, that support me, that are there for me, like the whole nine.
Yeah,
I'd rather do that because it just makes sense.
It's honestly like such an easy formula, but people, like, I feel like we tend to forget about that because we want to accommodate, we want to do this and that to
accommodate for sure,
right? Yeah. Like a whole lot of accommodating because like us personally, just because we are like very much social people and like in a way like kind of like people pleasing, not as much anymore, but then you know what I mean. So like we're like very accommodating to like.
Well, I think like we're both the same where we like don't want conflict.
Yes.
So it's just like I'm gonna like whatever like let's just like. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But then now that it's like, I don't know, I'm learning, it's 29 years later, I'm learning that you can really use your voice.
It's like you said, like boundary. It goes back to like the boundaries.
The whole boundaries thing. Like really put your foot down and, you know, like stand up for yourself and like, hey, respect my boundaries. Oh my gosh, here's an example. Well, it's not boundaries thing, but it kind of goes with this. Okay. So last night I went to Jesus. Hi, Jesus. Remember how I went to his little restaurant? Because
dude, that video.
I wanted him to be like, open or close. And he just goes, hey, open or close. I'm like, no, you need to be more aggressive, bro. And he goes, oh, okay. Anyway, I went to this restaurant because I wanted to go grab a drink. It's been a crazy week, okay, at work. I've been exhausted. Yeah. I just want a quick little drink and a little dinner and then go to sleep and get a good sleep. Anyway, I walked into the restaurant and when I walked in, I passed this little couple that was sitting on like a little booth area. I walked past them to go to the bar. And that the guy was like staring at me like up and down. I don't know if it was like in a like
hitting on you?
No. Like, I didn't see it. It wasn't like a flirtatious way. It was more like who are you? Like it was
looking up and down.
And then like Sadie in the past would have been like, oh, just look away. Girl, when I'm telling you yesterday, I would tell Jesus to pull up the cameras because when I'm telling you, he kept on doing that. I looked at him right back and forth. Like I kept walking, I kept looking at him because he wouldn't stop staring at me.
Was that just like as you were walking in?
Yeah, like walking past him like this, and he just kept looking at me. So I caught that he was looking at me up and down, like in a way where he's not like ooh, but then in a way like who are you? So I did it right back at him. I was like, and then his girl, which is his girlfriend, I'm assuming, was sitting right across from him, turned and looked at me too. Then I looked at them both because I'm like, if y'all gonna look, we can play too. Yeah. So I looked at both of them. I was walking like this and I was like looking at them like yes, hello, like yes. And then I kept walking. And then like I went and sat at the bar and I told Jesus like, okay, I don't know, that couple over there, they kept looking at me, so I'm looking at them too. He goes, who, do you know them? I'm like, no, I don't. And he goes, oh, the way where you were looking at them, I thought you knew them. I'm like, no. I was like, I thought they knew me too, but they didn't say anything. And I'm telling you, like, so whenever I sat at the bar, their little chairs are already covered because, you know, it's kind of like at a Kara where you can't even see them. Yeah. The dude proceeded to turn.
Shut the was like, this after you were at the bar?
And I already just sat at the bar when I went to, and he proceeded to get his head out and turn and looked.
What the
I was like, huh? So I was like, so I saw him and I was like, look. He seriously goes, oh, that's weird. And I looked at him. I was like,
what the heck?
I was doing this. I was like, hi, hello. And then like they just turned around. And I was like, what in the freaking like heck? Like what the hell? I was like, who are these people? Why are they looking at me like that? It was the weirdest thing. I don't know, do I have something on me? Like I was just in my regular clothes. Walking in. I thought it was the weirdest thing. But then I was like, I mean, so it kind of ties back into the whole boundaries and the whole conflict thing. Like Sadie, like a few years ago would have just been like, oh, like look at them, or look away and just ignore them the whole time.
You're like, no.
But then this time I'm like, okay, if you're gonna stare at me, I'm gonna stare at you. Like, do you have something? If they would have kept doing it, I would have walked over them and be like, hey, what's up? Do you guys know me? I would have done that. Like, not in a conflict way where, like, do you have a problem? But I would have literally been genuinely like, do you guys know me? Or, hey, what's going on? Like, why are you guys staring at me? Like, is there something on me? I would have done that. I would have 100% done that, and I was so close to. But then when I looked back over there, I don't think they were there anymore, and they left. But that was the weirdest thing, dude. And I'm like, I'm not gonna hold back anymore. If you got something to say or look at me, I'm gonna do it right back.
What the hell?
I'm gonna do it right back. It was so weird.
That's weird.
I was like, Oh my gosh, when I'm telling you.
Ew, I don't like that. Were they older?
It. No, they were, I think they were probably my age or a little bit younger. But what the heck are these people? Why are y'all staring at me?
That's weird.
Anyway.
People are weird.
So that's what I'm talking about, like boundaries and the whole conflict thing.
And you know what? As like someone who just turned 30, like that's, I'm going to make this as part of my TikTok series. That's one thing I also learned too is boundaries. Like putting your foot down, because if you don't put your boundaries down, I'm telling you, people are gonna run over them time and time again. Which brings me to my next point. I'm no longer employed. And that was a boundary that I drew for myself, because being in a space where you're just like, I felt like I was a sponge that was getting sucked like dry. And now I don't have that. And now I get to, focus on my creativity. I have a supportive support system. Like the world just looks amazing. So that comes to show that putting your foot down and having a boundary can pay off, and just know that you are in charge of how you want people to respect you. Ooh. And you literally are in control of that, because if you allow people to step all over you,
oh my god, hang on, I just got chills.
Yeah, if you allow people to disrespect you, they will continue to do so. So until you change that, you get your butt up, put down your foot, draw that boundary line, and don't let people step all over you. I'm telling you, your life will change, because your self-worth is going to go whoop way up.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think that's like a lesson that needs to be learned, and a lesson that we have learned in the past like few years of our lives.
And it's like just personal experience too.
Definitely.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I always say this, and like every time we talk about anything similar, like maybe one day we'll do like a sit down like episode where I tell everything I've been through in life. But until we get there, it's like, just know that I have been through the struggle bus of life, and I'm surprised I'm here now. I mean, even Sadie, even Val, like all three of us, like we've been through a lot of stuff in our lives to get here to where we are today. And I know obviously you have to, as a listener, everybody has their own stories. So just know that you are a unique individual, and you should not let other people control your destiny, your life.
Yes.
You got to put that boundary down, because people will try to attack you time again.
That is so important to do. Like, it's so important in all aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Like, whether if it's like your job, your family member, a friend, relationships to everything. You have to have some sort of boundary at the end of the day, because if you don't, then you're just essentially allowing them to have the most vulnerable part of you,
or the most parts of you that make you. I feel like that your identity, too, because even if you have a job or like relationships or friendships or whatever, like if you give and you don't draw that boundary, like you're no longer allowing yourself to have something for yourself. Yes. We tend to forget that. I feel like. I mean, I don't know about you listeners and people that are more like, I don't know, like closed off and extroverts? Introverts. But yeah, that's something that I've dealt with for like a very long time too, and I know we talked a little bit about this before, but then like, again, it goes back to like the, now that I'm older, I'm like, wait, what about, don't forget about your own self. Don't leave yourself, in the back burner. And I feel like in our last episode, when talking about like midlife crisis, a lot of people really resonated with that.
Yes.
Because it's like, I had a path of what I was supposed to do, but now I'm here. I don't want to do that, or I want to try something different. And really, I was telling people in the comments, I encourage you to do it. Like you said, in our last episode, take baby steps.
Yeah.
Because if you have one thing to count on, like, I've been saying this so much to my friends that need it right now. It's like, if you can't believe in yourself or believe in your dream, how do you expect other people to do it?
Yes.
Even if you're working your day to day and like doing your daily thing, like do something for yourself that pushes you towards your dreams and goals, or something that contributes to that, or that feeds that creativity, or feeds whatever makes you feel alive.
Yes.
And I was just telling my brother Joe this, because he's been going through a hard time. Yeah. And I'm like, so find something that you feel drawn to, or find something that you feel like it gives you life and energy. Because if you go through life not having anything, you will always feel like you have nothing.
Like you're stuck somewhere. You're stuck. You're like, wait, I don't know. I don't really like this as much. Or what am I supposed to be doing in my life? Or I'm not fulfilled. There's a million things you can do out there. You know, now that I think about it, like,
or even if you don't know, I just say
hobbies.
Go try different things.
Just try it out, like little hobbies or whatever.
Literally,
it all starts off with like just an interest. You know,
because I mean, just like this podcast, right? Like a year ago, no, not a year ago.
It was two,
3.
No, it started.
Because this is season 3. This is season 3.
Wait,
it's just about to be.
About to be 3. Yeah. So crazy about that you mentioned that. I don't know if we ever mentioned this, but this literally started like about, I guess, close to 3 years ago. Yeah. We went on this thing called the Hot Girls Walk in Tulsa here, and that just sparked the idea. And we've always joked around about
in the group chat.
In the group chat, like, oh my gosh, we're so funny, like, because our conversations in general we're so funny. We need to have our own show. You know? And I remember saying that with Leslie all the time too. Whenever it would just be conversations between us two, I'll be like, we need to have a show. Like, people need to see how funny we are, or just how real our conversations are. Excuse me. So then that day, whenever we went on that little event, I was just, Satiana and I were
grabbing a drink beforehand.
We had a little drink. So we were, you know, I don't know, I guess like
we was vibing.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? And then obviously, quite literally, you are such an inspiration, because you had already started a little one with your husband at that time. Yeah, and I remember listening to y'all's little podcast, like, ooh, I love this. And then I'm like, Satana, what do you think? What about if we do one? And she's like, let's just do it. She was just so, like, I think that's whenever you vibe with the right people that, you know, see the same values in each other and you believe in each other. As soon as she said, let's just do it, I was like, wait, really? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, you know what? F it, let's do it. So then we texted Val in the group chat. She was at work. So we had a conversation. It sparked an idea. It all just started with an idea. And then we just
started like with names, like what should it be? Like that.
So that's an example of the snowballing in a good way of creative things. Yes. Because then as soon as she solidified and confirmed that
let's do it.
Hey, let's do it. I was like, okay, then let's do it. And then we started thinking about names, and we were like we sat at this little bar for like, I don't want to say like 20-30 minutes, like looking up names, looking up ideas already. So that's when the idea started rolling out more, and then we pushed it into like real thing. And we started off on an iPad, but in the garage with the audio.
Bad echoes.
And the audio was horrible.
It was horrible.
Our pilot episode in our first like few episodes was horrible. But hey.
But you know what? I'm so proud of us, because you can see the progress of how we've come, how far we've come. And I don't know. So even now, it's probably not the best setup, but it's like, you know, we work with what we have, and we've come a long way.
We make it work.
And I think that just goes into effect. Like, there's different people in your life that can attribute things in a positive way.
Yes.
Like, if I would have never started the podcast with my husband, Sadie would have never got the idea.
Exactly.
And then we would have never, you know, like, I'm a doer. So when anyone gives me an idea, I'm like, just do it. Yes. Just do it. Like, you literally have nothing to lose if you just start.
Exactly.
And people are always like, well, I want to do a podcast. I want to do social media. Like, just do it. You literally have to answer to nobody. Just do it for yourself, so you feel fulfilled. Yeah. So you have that something for you.
And I know we say this all the time too. Like, I think in the previous episodes about what's the worst that could happen? Like, if it doesn't work out, it's okay. At least you tried it. At least you gave it a try.
I think also don't disappoint yourself. If there's something that you want to do, like, who cares if you look stupid? Who cares if you look cringe? People say all the time, like, I couldn't, you know, people talk shit about our podcast all the time.
Yeah,
all the time. Like, oh my God, look at them. They look so boring. Oh my God, look at them. They look so tired. They look so, like, it's so stupid.
You know what though? The same people that are saying all these things are the ones that are sitting on their ass at home doing nothing, listening to us still. Thanks for running the views up.
and that to me is just like, you know, but for me, I'm like, I want even those people to get to this point in their life.
I don't know.
And you know, whenever I told Danny that, he's always like, why do you like always like, you know, want to like help people even if they're like hating on you guys? And I'm like, because that's the type of person I am. I'm a doer.
Yes.
You know, if I'm doing good, I want you to do good too.
Period.
Because I want you to have something in life that you can look forward to. Period. Because maybe, just maybe, then you can get out of that mindset that you're in.
See, I think that's what we relate so much on with that mindset, because I agree with that 100%. Like, you know, even in my career, in my job, like that's my mindset, right? Like, I want everybody to do good for themselves. Yes. Because I believe every single soul here in this world has a potential to do something. Yes. You know, to make yourself fulfilled.
And I will say, like, don't follow other people's path just because everybody else is doing the same thing.
Yes.
No. Mm-hmm. If you're doing that, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And this is a daily reminder for myself, because I literally have on my phone, on my screensaver, it says, you know, follow your path, not theirs. Because it's like everyone can do the same type of niche or industry.
Yes.
But your path is your own. Just because you see other people doing it, you got to put the blinders on.
Yeah.
Do your own thing. Because you are quite literally only yourself, and you cannot duplicate what other people are doing.
Exactly.
It will never work.
No,
it will never work.
Like, are you sure, like, before you do something, like, are you sure, are you doing it with the right intentions?
Yeah, I have to catch myself too, because obviously, like, you're human. You're only always going to compare yourself, right?
It's human nature to compare.
You're going to compare yourself to your past self. You're going to compare yourself to your peers. You're going to compare yourself to people in your industry that are doing really well.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's like, can you say that you are better than you were 6 months ago? You always got to, like, when you're veering off, you always got to correct yourself and, like, put yourself back on the path. It's
always just you versus you. Honest, quite me versus me, where you, like, yourself versus yourself. You are you're competing with yourself, not anybody else. Like you said, you got to make sure that you are better than you were 2 years ago, right? Like, I feel like if anything for me, like, I don't care if, like, I'm doing better than this person or that person. At the end of the day, I'm like, man, 5 years ago I prayed for this. I wanted to be here, you know what I mean? So
I think when I was in a rut maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I was really like getting like imposter syndrome, I was listening to the J. Cole song, like what's that song called?
No Life That's Better Than Yours.
Yeah, I was like, dang, I was like, his lyrics hit so bad. I'm like, that's so true. Like, there literally is no life that's better than your yours. Own. Your own life is yours, and, like, you should be proud of it. And although it may not be perfect, it's like, with life, you got to just live and learn.
I think one thing with us too is that we do, like, I mean, I don't know, I mean, I feel like you feel the same way, but then a lot of my mentality, it really, I strive on the whole, like, there's beauty in the struggle. Literally a lyric from J. Cole again. Like, there's beauty in the struggle, because the struggle is where that's where you grow the most, and that's where you can learn how to appreciate what you have the most now.
It's almost like when you grow the most when you're uncomfortable. It's basically the same thing.
Exactly.
Like, that's when you do a lot of your learning. That's where you get a lot of those values in life, is when you have to go through hardships, or when you are
hurdles.
When you are still a baby in your industry and you're trying to learn, like, how do I get better at my craft, or that's when you learn the most.
Yes.
Like, especially for actors, right? They do a lot of audition tapes, and they don't get the parts most of the time. They fail a lot of the times. It just takes that one in order for them to get it. But you didn't see how much they struggled before that.
That's my main thing is that I do want to normalize more in my life, and just, like, in general, is to really appreciate the failure and the struggles. Like, I really, like, for example, that's why with our first few episodes from our very first season, I'm like, the audio was horrible, but I want to keep it there. I want to keep it alive, and so that way we can see the progress. And this is literally where we started. We started from the bottom, and I'm proud of it. I'm not ashamed. Ain't no shame over here, babes. I'm not ashamed of any of my failures or any of my downfalls, because it really, essentially, those were the moments that really pushed me to be where I am today.
And honestly, it's like,
where we are.
The podcast is our passion project.
Yes.
And, like, just to see it flourish and see people connect with it, and just how much it's grown, it just brings me so much joy.
I love it.
And it makes me so happy to just be part of a community that we created, this community circle of our podcast, and people that really listen to it weekly, and that just resonate with the topics that we talk about.
Yeah.
And again, none of our episodes are scripted. We literally just off the dome.
Quite honestly, today we didn't even know what we were going to talk about. We were just like, let's just get on with here. The flow. And because it's a little bit of a shift today too, obviously without Valerie or whatnot, and going forward, however it's going to be. But Tana and I were just like, let's just talk about whatever is on our mind. And look where we're at now. I think we're doing pretty dang well.
And I always think that those are the best conversations.
Very authentic.
Where you can just go with the flow.
And at the end of the day, like, yes, like, I don't know about you, but for in my mind, like, the podcast in general for us is like, it's therapy for me. And I think and I'm not going to speak for the listeners, but I have heard from a lot of them that it's therapy for them too. You know, just listening, and, like, a lot of them, like you say, if it resonates with them and they can relate, like, they're behind the phone or the computer, like, oh like they just agree with it. That's what my sister-in-law Lisa says. She goes, that's right. I'm like, that's what makes it so special and rewarding.
Just connecting.
Yeah, it's just connecting people in general.
Like, at the end of the day, we're all humans, and we all have more similarities than we do differences.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes our podcast such a beautiful safe space.
That saying. We have more similarities than we do differences. Ooh, I like that so much.
I love that quote.
Dang.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy because sometimes the most simplest things or sayings are like the deepest.
It is.
I tend to overlook a lot of the simple things, but at the same time, I'm also a simple person, so it's like,
that means we're getting old. When like the quotes start hitting, you're like,
no, that's true. But then because like 5 years ago, we would have been like, huh? Okay,
that's
whatever.
So
like,
cringe.
you brush it off. That's
whatever.
so cringe. But now we're like, ooh.
Like she right.
It's so pretty, but I think it's funny and cute, but at the same time, but it's like because you can really relate to it, like everything that you have created in your life before. You're like, oof, like that hits.
Like I can resonate with that. Like that is some facts right there.
Older and wiser.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's old age.
Ooh, hey, I don't know. This kind of like just gave me an umph of excitement for being older now, because I feel like it's just life just means so much more now.
It does.
I feel like, right? I don't know.
In your 20s, it's just messy, is what I say. It's chaotic.
It's chaotic.
You're
trying to figure everything out. You're living.
Imagine having ADHD on top of that. Oh Lord.
Girl, ADHD.
Bad.
Speaking of ADHD, because we're just like going in circles. I saw something the other day. Remember the video that I tagged you and Valerie in on TikTok, right? A day in the life of ADHD versus a regular person. So it's a video.
We'll put a video right here.
We'll put a video here. Anyway, so it's something about like, like the 8 hour. It's supposed to be what is it? Time lapse. It's not time lapse though.
They're just acting it out.
I'm dying. Yeah. He gets the phone and he walks back and forth while the other person that's regular is like on
working
the computer
8 hour day, just like.
And then somebody in the comment said, "Wait, but what if the other person is just ADHD but in hyper focus mode?"
Oh.
I'm like, oh shoot, because I'm like, I never ever thought of it that way. Like as soon as you think of ADHD, you think all over the place, right? But then whenever they're in hyper focus mode, they're like for 8 hours straight too.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I've done that before.
Me too.
You have
bad,
to?
yeah.
It's bad. Like it's bad either way. Like I don't even know. I mean, I guess hyper focus if it's on something that's like progressive, then yeah, cool. But then if it's something that's not progressive, you can be on 8 hours like just.
But then that's still like toxic productivity
it
too.
Is.
So it's just like you're not even getting anything done. Ooh. Either way, it's bad.
Well, speaking of ADHD. I mean, disclosure, self-diagnosed.
All self-diagnosed. We've never been to a doctor to diagnose.
You know what? Okay, speaking of that again, I saw another video on TikTok. See, ADHD, boom, right in timeline, where a girl and her friends, I think they're like in our age or older, she finally went to go get tested, and they were celebrating her results as in like how like before a baby shower, is it gonna be a boy or girl? And then they open like they popped a balloon or something. They're like, it is ADHD or it's ADD, and then they're like celebrating, and I'm like, that's hilarious. And I'm like,
that's funny. It's AF.
It is so funny, but I feel like it's also like a little like you celebrate whatever it is. I think it was cute and funny to see them in that from that point of view where they're like thinking of it as a positive thing, like
instead
it's
of negative. Yeah.
I think it's them wanting to like the confirmation, like I do have ADHD.
I like that idea though.
Isn't that so funny? Like, so one of these days we should probably
gotta go get diagnosed.
I'm gonna tell my doctor, like, hey, can you just test me? I know I'm like 30 years old. I just want to know, just
like, do I have it or
do I have ADHD?
Yeah.
According to the symptoms, like we do. That's why we say self-diagnose, but
like we for sure probably have some.
Sis, the way how we are talking, can you tell?
We have to have some type of ADHD.
We have to have, dude, ADHD, because like, yeah, I mean, that's funny because that's Leslie. We always say that too. We could be talking like this exactly like you, like the way how I talk with you, like this is exactly how I talk with Leslie. Like we'll be like, and then like
just feed off of each other,
and then like we'll talk like,
and just
like bouncing back and forth like a ping pong, boom, boom.
That's
boom.
why I always think, how do normal people function? Like, no, for real, because I'm like, yes. I can literally go from A to Africa to Z to Korea to Zimbabwe to freaking the US and like
to like McDonald's or something.
A B C D E F G, like that's literally how my brain works, and I'm just like, I can't.
And the crazy thing is, like,
normal conversation.
The crazy thing is, whatever it is that we do bring up, we can go on and on about it. And then like flip. Like honestly, hey, ADHD, it's a flex, sis. I will say it's a flex.
It is, because you can follow
through. So
that's why I can't do normal conversations.
Me neither.
When it's so dry and I'm just like,
I've talked to people before where they're just like, so, and like, and no, to be honest, like whenever we're looking back into our old episodes, even now, like I talk so freaking fast, right? And that's one of like, I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse. Maybe it's more of a curse. But then Leslie's the same way too. Like we can both, like our conversations, we can talk. Even right now, I'm catching myself. I have to very much remind myself to slow down. Because when I first started my job and I was teaching lessons, shut up. I swear, like I had like 3 kids raising their hands. Like I'll be going through the lessons, right? I'll be blah, 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 blah. Any questions? And I had at least 3 kids in the first 2 weeks are like, yeah, I have a question, Miss Lee. I was like, yes. They're like, why do you talk so fast? Oh, I was like, oh, I've been humbled many times where at my job, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, but was I clear though? They're like, yeah, you were clear. I'm like, okay, that's all that matters. I was like, I was clear, But then like even the episodes in the past few episodes, I would go and listen. I'm like, holy crap, I'm talking so fast. I'm like, I don't know, like I need to slow down. But then I feel like
that's how I get too, because you get the emotion. You're just like,
I think in a way it's just kind of like you're just excited.
Yeah, I feel like that's how we are when we have like good news. We're like exciting stuff, and we're just like, oh yeah, guess what? Yeah,
that's just
it's
how
literally
we
like
are.
A bird chirping, and it doesn't ever stop.
But then I mean, it does make me feel better that other people can relate as well, and quite honestly, these type of conversations are the ones where it's like, it's fun and it keeps you going, and you can like listen to it and you're like, ooh, what are they talking about? What's the tea?
What's gonna come next?
What's the tea? What's next?
I hate having dry conversations, like normal conversations. I had some yesterday, and I'm just like, I think especially like when I'm networking with like new people, and that's just me. Like I just like asking a lot of questions because I'm like, I'm nosy. Like I don't know you. Like I want to know like, what do you do professionally? Like what are your like, I don't know. Tell me about your trauma. Like like I don't know. Like give me something. Give me some zhuzh. Give me the meat of it. And people that are just like surface level and like, yeah, my day was good, and I'm like, fast forward on 2x 3x, come on, my attention span cannot keep up. Like I just, come on, what's next?
Literally that's literally how one of me and my friends at work is too, because she's the same way too. Like we're literally the same. She's like us, and she's like, I remember she had a conversation with like an old friend or something, and she said, gosh, she's so generic. And she used the word generic, and I'm like,
stop, that's a good way to put it,
right? And she goes, she's so generic, because she'll just say stuff like, how are you? Oh, I'm good. Or like, so how are the kids? And just very generic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, questions. I'm like, okay, like especially if you're someone that knows someone or whatever, or it's been a while you haven't seen them, like, but especially like you, from that standpoint, when you're networking, you're trying to meet new people, how give me an example. Let's play it right now. Pretend we're networking right now, and you just
okay. I'm gonna put voice filters over this, so
okay,
you can see
I love
the difference.
it.
Okay,
love it.
So for example, yesterday I met someone new, right, and it was somebody that I had seen on Instagram before, and he's a local creative, and I was just trying to get to know him, and I was like, like, okay, pretend like I'm asking questions, right? Okay, I was like, so what do you do?
I do this and this and that. Okay,
and then I was like, okay, so like, where do you perform? Like, where do you do these things at? And then he was just like, oh, I'm like around, like I've been around for a long time. And I was like, okay. And it was just like the conversation was so slow that I was just like, how do I exit?
Was this person not asking you questions in return, or like kind of like
he was, but it was like, I could tell his brain was not ADHD. like it was like, that's why he was like,
you ask a lot of good questions.
And I was like,
oh, is that a compliment?
And I was just like, I'm just nosy like that. I'm sorry. Like I want to know more about people, and like.
But I know what you mean though, because like even whenever we used to go to those events, where we would walk and stuff like that with the girls, I've had conversations like Neri Newskin, for example, like
love you, Jenny.
Like when I first met her through you, I can just right off the bat, she had the energy that we had.
Yes.
Because as soon as she introduced me to her, I was like, hey girl, hey, nice to meet you. And she goes, hey, and just like you can feel the aura.
Yeah.
Bro's got 1,000 aura. How do they kids say?
Bro got 1,000 aura points.
Bro's got mad aura.
Bro's got Riz. I mean, is that even a thing anymore?
I was saying that to my nephews the other day. They were like laughing cringe. I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to be the cool aunt.
No, literally, I'm like that with Oliver. I'm like, okay, skibbity toilet. Like, oh, whatever.
Like, Mom, stop saying that. Anyway, but like as soon as I saw Jenny and I met her, automatically her aura was just so matching with ours. So we just started conversing. We're like with the same energy.
Her.
Like you could tell she was positive, not like a fake one, but she was just genuinely going back and forth, like playing ping pong with conversation.
I just had dinner with her yesterday.
Oh, I love her. I miss that girl. But that's what I meant versus someone that and some other people that I've met there where there's just very much more, like I said, generic too. And
I call that like politically correct. They call it PC. Like give me like the PC questions, like politically correct questions, like the base level. Like no, I don't want none of that. Like if you go on.
To me, it's just it's not personable. I just don't see like a personality. If I don't see personality between us two or whoever I'm having a conversation with, then I can't really connect. You know what I mean?
Can I tell you something that I'm thinking about right now?
What, bitch?
So when me and Val was at the baby shower, right? At your sister-in-law's baby shower the other day, we were at the door and we saw some people that we knew, right? Because we've been in the same community for years and years. And we saw some people that we knew but we hadn't talked to in years. And me and Val was standing by the front door. And we saw them walking like towards the front door from their cars. And I was like, no. Like I didn't want to conversate. I didn't want to like, generic PC questions. Yeah, okay. So I literally was like,
try to avoid it.
Oh no. So I turned around and I went back into the fucking building and Val was like, do you just really do that? And I was like, I just can't. I was like, I have no more energy for today. I was like, I just can't. And so Val literally was just like, bitch. And then she literally followed me. And I'm just like, I'm asking the listeners and viewers out there too. If you were put in that scenario, right? Like if you know that there are people that and people will call it shady. I don't know, whatever. But for example, right? Like let's say you see people that you haven't seen in a long time. Yeah. Your acquaintances. They're not really friends, acquaintances. Yeah. And they're walking towards you. And you see that they're coming and it's a group of them, like, would you A, stay and converse with them, like as they're coming to you, or B, turn away to avoid conversation?
Think about it.
A or B. I'll give you a couple seconds. For me, I did B. I avoided because I don't know. To me, I think that there's, I think it depends on your social battery. Yeah. If you have room to, like, I don't want to do all that. Like, how are you? How are your kids? Like, oh my gosh, that stuff bores me.
I know exactly what you mean.
Bores me to death.
But because you know what's crazy? That exact same thing.
Is that shady?
No, I don't think it's shady. Well, here's the thing. I mean, people, yes and no. But then here's the thing, though. And
but I said hi once they came inside. Okay, but they found me.
Then no. But here's the thing. Okay, I can relate to you 100% because I was just literally telling my sister-in-law this the other day that when at the Hmong New Year's, right? Yeah, girl. Oh, when especially there's a huge event like that, and
you got nowhere to run, huh?
Well, and quite honestly, it was the busiest weekend of my life. Well, one of the two.
That weekend is always busy.
Crazy busy, right? Yeah. Brian played football with my brother. We had to be up by 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Boom, there's the Halloween party. Boom, the next morning you had to do it again. On top of that, he wasn't feeling good. I was exhausted from work all week already, right? Back to back. And I was just literally telling Lisa that every single time when I would go walk, like to go get food or something by myself while they're playing football, I saw like at least 10 people that I knew, but I automatically turned the other way. Like I turned the other cheek. Honestly, yeah, I just didn't have the social battery for it. I was exhausted. I didn't have, like you said, again, I think it all goes down to like, because it's just going to be small talk, like little generic, hey, how are you? Okay, what's going on? Yeah. Like, it's not, oh, well, when did you get here? I just did not have the energy for it. I was exhausted because I was running back and forth trying to make sure everything's good already as it was. So I'm like, and I know these people, like you said, but it's just been a while. So, as soon as you see them, it's just going to be this small talk or whatever. Now, if it were to be someone like I was pretty close with and I know that we go back or we have something, then I would say, I would be excited to go up to them and say, hey, So in a way, it's a shady, but at the same time, I got to put me first.
Protect your social battery. Protect your...
Yeah. It really depends. Yeah, it just didn't have the energy for it. Like at the end of the day, that's the answer to it. And I remember telling Lisa that my sister-in-law, she goes, oh, I saw like 10 people and I was saying hi to them, and she's like, she was very energetic, so she goes, I'm like, okay, dang girl, I'm like, and you're like 6 months pregnant, but I was like, props to you, babes. And she was like, yeah, it's just been a while since I've seen them. I'm like, I get it. I was like, for me, I was just exhausted. I didn't have the energy for it, so I can relate to like,
I hate how people like, oh, like that's so shady, but I'm like, no, it's really not. Like at my big old age, I can choose who I have conversations with, and like if you know me, you could come say hi. Like
that part,
I don't have to be the one. I was like, you know,
I was just going to say that because quite honestly,
we're grown.
Back then it was very, very much of me. Like I look for people and I've seen them. I'm the one that initiates every
See how
time.
times have changed.
Woo! I initiate every time. So now I'm like, I see them first, but I'm not going to initiate. I'm just going to keep walking. If they do see me and if they wanted to, they would, or they will, you know.
You know what? Talking about the new year, I did have, look at this ADHD. No, but it goes with this too. Like I did see a couple of people that I know. We know each other. Each other. Literally locked eyes, and then just kept walking. Like I think that's like a signal. Like we're both. Like hey, we don't want to.
Like hey.
That's our hey. Like hey.
I think that's happened to me before too. Like we acknowledge each other with just eyes. Like and just walk away.
It's just like.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy because no, I can relate to that. But no, I agree. Like
I literally cackled because I didn't even. I mean, I knew I was doing that at the baby shower, but I was literally like, oh, I literally said, I audibly said, oh, and Val was at the door, and then I turned around and she was laughing, and she's like, bitch, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't like.
You just didn't have the energy for it, and that's okay. And if you know, if they walk
protecting my peace,
exactly. And if they see you and they want to come and say hi, like it works.
Both ways, honey. It's a telephone.
Both ways. If they want to, they can come.
And I did end up saying hi. See, when they went inside.
There you go.
It was just I didn't want to stand outside
and have a conversation, and like that's what I think. That's what I'm gonna start doing too. Or like I think I have started. Like if I see someone from a distance and they make eye contact with me, instead of just going up there to make a whole conversation, I would just be like. Smile and walk away. I'll smile and wave and then walk away. And I've been doing that quite a lot. I think I've done that like at work too not so long ago where I was like see some people or something.
And that's okay.
And then walk away because at least I acknowledge you or whatever. Or sometimes I just give them like a smile and then walk away. Like you know.
You do the
like that's, you smile and you're like,
hey,
you walk and you're like
not like it's just like being socially aware, I think.
Yes.
So you're just like
and then you or you know okay ADHD brain again, but you know those stupid memes that it says that when you're like walking a super long hallway at work and you're like somebody's walking, you're trying so awkward and you're trying to avoid it, but it's inevitable. So they're walking still and you're walking and like you make eye contact or you do look or like you just not look at them. So I've done that at work a lot where I'm like, okay, it's like when you turn the corner, it's like you see someone walking, it's just you two, you're walking past each other, so you look at each other, you're like. You either smile and you nod or you walk away or you say, how's it going? It's going. Or like those stupid
long day today.
or those stupid things where it goes oh, how's it going? Living the dream. Stupid.
How's your day? Just like every other day. I hate those. I'm like,
but those are so freaking funny to me when I see it as like in that like stupid like memes or something. I'm like, that's hilarious because that's how it is, you know. Or you make like the awkward smile like and then you walk away and you're like, oh.
Dude, you need to watch English Teacher.
English Teacher? Is that a show?
It's a show.
Really?
So I don't know if you've seen that video of that guy doing the dance. I gotta show you. Isla's addicted to it.
What?
And so he is a comedian and he has a show called English Teacher on Hulu.
I think I heard of it. Maybe.
Yeah, and he does like a lot of dances on TikTok, like the same dance. And he like takes off his shirt and it's funny.
Okay.
But the show is good and I think you would love it.
Is it comedy?
Yes, you would love it. It's kind of like similar to Abbott Elementary. I think you would freaking love it. I have to start watching that.
Dude, it's hilarious.
I've seen clips on TikTok and I'm like, I love it.
So there's one on there. It's like on the not this newest season but the other season where there's an older teacher on there, right? And she's like very like more on the conservative side and she's like, you know, this and that, and then there's also like a younger one younger teachers, and then they mentioned that, and their principal is like she's hilarious. She's like my favorite character on there, and she's I've seen videos of her. Gosh, I forgot her name already. Oh my gosh, I haven't been watching, but she like, you know, listens to City Girls and all that.
Yes.
So they said the older woman teacher goes, she loves to listen to the Town Girls. She called them the Town Girls.
Shut up.
So everyone in the comments is like, I love it whenever Barbara calls the City Girls the Town Girls. Like she always names all the celebrities like the wrong name. So it was, I mean, I think that's her thing in there. It was like, that's how she, because she doesn't know how to pronounce or say the actual right name, but it was hilarious. It was like the Town Girls.
That's funny. City Girls. Instead of City Girls.
Yeah, and then like there was a part where they're trying to trap the principal to make her come back to her. And then she goes dancing.
What was that whole thing about?
Because like the principal, she's normally like, you know, she's like, so she doesn't do things the right way, right? And she's really like just whatever, like, oh, we don't care, we don't have to do professional development today, whatever. So she had turned shifted to like strict micromanaging and like completely, and they're like, oh no, we gotta get her back. They're like, we gotta trap her. Here, tell her to go to the gym. And they started playing
99 into
yeah, and then she goes, not today, and then she started to dance, and
I saw that.
no, as freaking hell, that was the best scene ever. And then eventually they got her back. They're like, oh, she's back, and she's like dancing and stuff. Oh my gosh, she's my favorite character ever. It's hilarious. Abbott Elementary. You know who's the one that showed me that show in the first place? Your sister.
Val?
Anna.
Really?
Anna's the one that told me about that show.
Dude, Anna's like a...
Yeah, she's real.
She is like a ratchet girl in the inside.
But she's so, like, yeah, but then with her career too, she's very much an advocate for everything and all that, like, you know. So she, whenever I was telling her about like The Office, she goes, Sadie, you need to watch Abbott Elementary. It's just like The Office, but for in the school setting, so you would love it. And I'm like, oh, so that's whenever
they're starting to make more and more shows like that.
A lot.
They have one about the nurse. Bro,
I need to tell Val. We need to tell Val to watch.
We need to tell Val because I literally, because I used to work in the hospital.
Yes.
And I literally saw a couple episodes. I'm like, this is so exactly relatable. How it is. And people in the comments were like, people that never worked in a hospital probably don't realize that this is literally how it is. And I was like, that is so true. It's
hilarious. I think it's so relatable, and but in a humorous way.
In a humorous way, but it's like for real, like that's what they do. Yeah.
Because everything Abbott too, I'm like, yup, it's true. It's bad.
Isn't that funny? Like, it's funny, but then it's sad. Like, that's like the reality.
But that's how we cope with it. That's how we gotta do.
Oh gosh, it's like our generation.
It is our millennials, not Gen Z.
It's like the millennials are the ones running the show now, so it's like everything you see. It's funny because we can relate to it.
Even though if you look in the deeper side, it's like, ooh, that's sad.
Dark humor.
That's dark. Dark humor.
Dark humor. I mean, we all deal with it like that.
We thrive on dark humor.
That's literally the only thing keeping us alive.
I swear.
We're hanging by a thread.
You're a
skinty thread.
You're thin ice, buddy. As always,
we upload a new episode every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can follow us at 116th Hotline right here on all social media platforms. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. So follow us on all those platforms at 116th Hotline. Let us know how you like this episode with our new transition and our new setup. Like we said, look forward to more guests, and we really appreciate the love and the feedback over the last couple of videos and just fun videos on social media, and then also our last episode. We really appreciate the engagement from you guys, and really, we say it time and time again, but we do this podcast for you guys and for us as well. And it's a safe space. So thank you so much for believing in us and for putting your comments. We really appreciate the conversation. Like, that's what this podcast was created for. Honestly. So we love and appreciate you guys. And say, do you have anything else?
Nothing much. I just agree with that. But then, yes, please let us know, even if you just want to DM us about how you felt about this episode. With and going forward, it'll be most likely more like this.
Yeah.
Like we said, Val will kind of like jump in and out whenever she, can. So, and with us, we're going to have more guests too. So hopefully, it'll be more like...
different perspectives.
Yeah, different perspectives.
I think it'll be good. It's for the good.
Yes, for sure.
It'll be fun.
Stay tuned.
So we'll see you guys next week for a new episode. Bye.